depressing night. It was Aston Villa 4, Liverpool 2 at Villa Park. The Villains have qualified for the Champions League. Liverpool's hopes of playing Champions League football are amazingly, Mr. Sandwich, still in the balance. But surely can't get that bad.
I have no words. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's laughable. It's comic. Like it's. I don't think it's horror anymore. It's actually a comedy. You know when you're just watching and you're like, it's slapstick. It's
Are you,
just
are you
yeah.
not are you not affected anymore? Are you in that zone?
No, no. Oh, I'm so numb to it at this point. No, 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 no. Yeah, no. It's so like I'm not gonna stress myself out over this game 37 weeks into a season where we've absolutely just bombed out. Like I was actually glad it was on a Friday. I can actually crack on with my weekend.
That's exactly the same. Because I was thinking
That's
to
the
myself,
positive.
having to wait another 2 days to talk about such an abject performance and result on a Sunday. It's not the one. Not on God's day. You know, we need
No, it's not.
some peace and comfort in our lives.
Yeah.
Neo, welcome back. I haven't even introduced you guys. I just went straight in there.
You went straight in.
I've lost my manners.
Trauma. That's a trauma response.
It's a trauma response when your decorum goes out the window. Neo, good to see you again. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me again.
Welcome back. And you look very measured and calm. Are you also glad this was on a Friday night? Are you also numb to
Yeah,
what's going on
definitely.
with Liverpool?
I'm like Samu's. I'm pretty numb at this point. I think the PSG match was probably my last straw this season. After that, everything's just kind of been not much emotion in there for me. So just
That's
waiting
what
for it to be over.
Waiting for it to be over. You only got a week left, so don't worry about
One
that.
more week. Yeah.
Your wish shall be fulfilled in 9 days'
Yeah,
time.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. All
Just
right.
depressing.
And Jez, again, look, how rude of me not to introduce any of you, but we all know, we're all familiar, we're all friends. You're not going to take it personally, but you must have taken that defeat tonight personally.
It's like no words. I feel like I'm done. I actually feel like I need this season to be done. And I'm happy to like focus ahead of like 2 a.m., 4 a.m. World Cup kickoffs and contend that to like try and like get over all of this.
Wow.
But I'm just like, Liverpool, man, you've just done nothing for me this season. Really, giving me nothing.
Nothing at all.
Well, they've done a lot for you, just not much good. Not much positive.
I tell you.
Yeah.
And I think the thing with it being on a Friday, like you're saying, it's been on a Friday. I'm also just annoyed that there's an FA Cup final before the end of the season, and that's the whole reason why we're playing on a Friday and not on a Sunday. And I'm just like, come on.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they had to move our fixture, Jez, because the big boys have got bigger appointments and dates to look forward to, including Villa. They're treating us as a bit of a warm up for their Europa League final, and we warmed them up quite nicely, didn't we? Mr. Sandwich, tell me about your expectations coming into this game and how Liverpool dashed them down the hill like a broken toy car.
You know what? It's interesting you say that because when I was thinking about the game earlier, I was thinking, oh, maybe they're going to rest this week so that they're fully fresh for their big day in Istanbul, their cup final. But then when the team sheet came out and it's pretty much strongest team, I was like, actually, no, that makes a bit more sense. So that they're in rhythm. They've not gone 10, 11 days without a game. And then you rest them next week. Like they'll all be on, they'll still be, I don't know how to put it. They'll still be on a piss up. So it's like, actually, this is the last home game of the season. Put the effort in. So I saw the lineups and I was thinking, right, okay, right, yeah, this could get interesting. We're riddled with injuries still. We're formation wise. I was like, oh, okay, Joe Gomez is actually starting at right back. Okay, right, maybe we can keep it a bit compact, a bit tidy. But yeah, no, that was. The only reason I'm laughing is because every time I think Liverpool can't sink any lower, they just find a way. And it's like we play teams in bad form. We play Igor Tudor's Spurs team. We lose to Man United. They do the double over us. Chelsea 6 games out. Like every week, it's actually just getting worse. So there reaches a point where you're just like, okay, do you know what? Actually, I'm gonna watch it. It's gonna be on the TV, but yeah. So my hopes were adequately placed at the start of the game. So
Modest.
I wasn't expecting a rousing Liverpool performance. I'm sure we're going to get into the game and how it transpired, but it was just same old, same old. So why would I now be shocked when we're conceding the same type of goals, we're losing every single midfield battle, and Gakpo can't get a single shot on goal? Again, like nothing that happened tonight was new, and we played a good team who are they use this game as a warm up. It's their last game and home game of the season, and they want to be in a rhythm for Wednesday. And they didn't have to do much. They really, really didn't have to do much. And my last point, I've gone on a rant. This reminded me of the 7-2, but we played better in the 7-2 against Villa. What we did today, we got away with it. That Ollie Watkins was offside twice. They hit the post a couple times, and a little bit here and there, and they weren't going at 100% because even the players themselves, they wanted to play, so they got the cobwebs out. But Watkins did his back, Konza had a little trip, so they weren't even playing at 100%, and it was that easy. So yeah.
Well, look, I'm glad. Thanks for coming, Miss Sandwich. No, I'm joking. So I'm glad you got that out. You raised a good few points there. One of the things that you touched upon when I was asking about your expectations.
Yeah,
I had someone in another WhatsApp group, not ours, messaging to say he hadn't bothered to watch it. What's going on? Is it the same old story? And I messaged back and I said, it's different shit, different day. Because actually Liverpool, for some of the common things that we used to, set pieces, etc., they're really good at losing different ways. And Neil, I think that is a big problem for the manager when you are heading towards the end of the season and you're looking for shoots of optimism, of hope for the next season. And what you're seeing instead is new ways for them to F it up. I mean, what was the most offensive part of this performance or aspects of this performance for you?
I think, first of all, this game's quite difficult to blame on the manager, I feel like, with the lineup. You didn't have much to work with. But I'd say the midfield, when I saw we had 4 midfielders starting, I did expect us to be a bit more compact, but they were just getting dominated by Lindelof and Tielemans in there, which I couldn't believe. But I do think the scoreline was quite flattering, 4-2. I saw Watkins had a few chances. Konate looked reckless as well today. He was very poor. And going forward, again, Rio was our only spark. Apart from him, Gakpo was non-existent. Jones off the right didn't really offer anything. And yeah, it's just a culmination, really. Can't attack, can't defend, can't win the midfield battles. And with all those, that's a recipe for disaster, pretty much. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you put all those things together, and there's very little room for optimism, really.
Yeah.
And, Jez, I've got to say, look, Villa won the match 4-2, right? But if you close your eyes, imagine a typical domineering Liverpool win at Anfield. It probably looks something like that. But I didn't think Villa were that good. They just exploited what we had, or our deficiencies at the back. But you got to remember, even after this win, they're only 3 points ahead. They're not that good a football team, right? They last played against Spurs. I know it was a much changed team and lost that football match. They're preparing for a European final. They have been good in fits and spurts. Remember how awful they were at the beginning of the season. Then they had an upturn. I remember you specifically saying towards the turn of the year, they will fade away. And they did. But I'm still disappointed that we've got to this stage and
they're back.
We've not asserted ourselves over them. I'm actually, the more I talk about it, the more shocking it is for me to think we're going into the final game of the season and our place in the Champions League, as we speak, as we record, is in question. I actually haven't got a question for you. Just talk to me.
Do you know what? You kind of go back to some of the points people have made, feeling at the start of this game, there's motivation on both sides. Okay, Villa want to go in and have a strong performance before they go to their final in Istanbul on Wednesday. Get the crowd behind them, so everybody's happy. That was the talk of the commentary. Everyone's packing their bags, getting their passports, off they're going. At the end of the game, they flashed up on their big screen. We're in the Champions League. Okay, so there was a reason for them, but there was a reason for us. Okay, we could have secured Champions League qualification last week. We only need 3 points. We only need 3 points. And I was kind of like, okay, we've got 1 point. Even drawing against Chelsea, Villa, and next weekend will be enough. But now we need to win the bloody game next week. And the way that the Liverpool are playing at the moment, I'm not confident that they're not going to concede goals, but I'm not confident we can score more than 1. Okay, we got 2 today. 2 goals off the defender with his head. Where else? No, other than Sabosla with a shot, there's nothing else coming. So that's the thing that worries me. It's just like, you know what? It's still in our hands, but it's been in our hands, and we've still not even been able to get 3 points. Like, what is that? And that's the disappointing. Is like there's motivation there, and they've just not responded to it. There's like nothing at all. And yeah. You kind of said, that they can't do this, they can't do that. It's like, yeah, or they won't do that. Yeah, but if you won't, then you can't do anything. That's the thing. It's just like they got to turn the can'ts into cans and the won'ts into wills, and then they might get more than what they've got back. But it's just, man, I'm done.
But as I say, you're not done yet, because I'm going to try and pull you in for more pain next week. There's one more fixture to go. And here's something ironic for you, Mr. Sandwich. Even after today, where Villa are feeling on top of the world, we're feeling crushed and let down and dejected. If we win next week, they've got City away, who, by the way, they have something to be motivated for. We finish ahead of them in 4th. Even if we were to do that, right, it would still be the most disappointing 4th place finish I can recall in my lifetime. How about you?
Yeah, pretty much. It goes back to a couple of years ago when I think it was United and Leicester on the last day, and Leicester somehow just managed to throw it away, and United kind of like bundled over the line. This feels worse than that, but this is worse than that. We've lost more games with somehow, and I think, like you said, harping back to January when we were looking at, okay, Villa, I think they're about 8 points ahead of us at their peak.
Yeah,
and I think we were all kind of like, yeah, they're probably far away. Maybe we're like, actually, if things fall into place and we've got to play all of them, we knew we were going to play all of them in April and May. Oh, it's in our hands. We could finish 3rd. And like Jess said, we've got 1 point from the last available 9 against the teams directly around us. We've been very fortunate that Chelsea dropped off, and very fortunate that Villa dropped off, well, up until today. So, yeah, the fact that if we get a win next week, I think even a draw might be enough, because hopefully Man City beat Bournemouth, and Brighton. Well, Brighton are 6 points behind us now, so we do definitely need to get at least that 1 point. So yeah, it's awful. It is one of those seasons you're just like, you know what, like Jess said, I'm already in World Cup mode. That's why I'm talking to you guys about the World Cup. I'm thinking ahead, because I'm like, this season has to end.
Not so fast, Mr. Sandwich, because we've got some goals to talk about, and most of them are Villa goals.
Most of them are.
Yeah, but just to jump in on that, I think the point we can't shy away from is the fact that the amount of points we've not got off the team in and around us like all season, and that has changed. It's not been like a steady top 6 or whatever. There's been other people have been in and out of that kind of top in and around us, but we just have failed home and away against a lot of them, and that's just like, if you can't contest against your rivals, and then what chance do you have?
I think we've lost 7 of 8 away games against the top 9.
Yeah.
Really? That's
Yeah, they showed it today.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that the teams in the top 8?
Top 9 currently.
9 around us.
It was 6 of 7 before the game, so I guess now it'll be 7 of 8.
Whoa.
It's not good.
Whoa.
It's not good.
Well, look, the good news is, guys, we don't have to worry about our weekend being pissed all over on a Sunday evening. And I cling to that, because a 4-2 defeat, a slapping up, a butchering, a mauling on a Sunday is a lot worse. Going to bed waking yourself up in the morning. Did it happen? Oh yeah, it did. Getting into work, and then one more game left of the season. It's all doom and gloom. There's actually lots of really good football to look forward to, but we'll get into that. We'll get into my weekend last Sunday. It was eventful. It had nothing to do with Liverpool. But let's talk about some goals, shall we? Neo, I'm going to come to you because in the 42nd minute, well, let me ask you this first. Before that goal went in for Morgan Rogers, it was a fantastic set piece, I thought. How are you thinking about the general balance of play and how Liverpool coped up until that point?
I didn't think we were too bad, again, considering the lineup. Rio was quite a bright point off the left. And we weren't really giving too much away. And then it seemed, I don't know, after that goal, momentum kind of shifted. And then we managed to come back into the game, and then we just threw it away ourselves. But I think before that goal, there wasn't too much to really dissect with the performance. I think it was just pretty standard from Liverpool, what we've seen this season, just kind of coasting throughout the game. Not really showing too much intensity like we'd like to see.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the things that we had this thing throughout the season, haven't we, of, if Liverpool concede first, it's going to be tough for them. They're not really good at coming back.
Yeah.
But I still felt after that goal went in, maybe because it was the timing of it, that they might still do something. I was wrong, but let's talk about that goal specifically, Jez, because I thought it was a very well worked set piece. The set piece guy who looked like I don't know,
like a member of ABBA.
Yeah, a member of ABBA or a Thor stand-in. He was loving it on the sidelines. I mean, the camera panned him just before they took the set piece, and there was so much movement going on. I was like, "This is really complex. What are they doing? They messed it up." And they worked it outside the box, inside the box, landed at the feet of Morgan Rogers, and very smart finish. Do you give them a lot of credit for that set piece and the way they worked it, or is it more Liverpool's failings? And B, talk to me about the goalkeeper. I thought maybe could have done better on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a well worked one. They clearly, as most teams do, they did the homework and they executed. I think that they kind of realised how static that we can be in defence, how nervous we can be in defence. Like people nervous to put in. We seem to be nervous to tackle. We seem to be all right, with the grappling aspects of being in the box against opposition, but actually putting a fit in and trying to get the ball away, we seem not to be. So yeah, I was kind of like, it kind of at that time, it kind of felt like it was coming. Like they kind of seemed to be in a bit of an up, and then that always kind of worries me because you kind of feel that once they get the goal and the wind's beneath them, they're just going to crack on. In terms of the goalkeeper, I don't feel like I could be bad. I can feel bad on the goalkeeper with that goal or most of the game as well. I think that he's still kind of finding his way in with the team. I think that there's just general issues there in terms of how much they're struggling to adapt to him as a keeper rather than Alisson. And I think that there's just a nervousness. I think there's been a lot of talk about him, particularly in that last game against Chelsea and stuff. So, but I kind of think, keepers last on defence. What's the defence doing? What's everyone else in front of them doing as well? But props to Villa. It was well worked, well deserved. And like you said, we went one down. I was just like, okay, what goes from here? At most, I kind of thought an equaliser. At that point, I kind of was like, I don't see us scoring two.
Yeah, all the optimism's been drained from your face, Jez. Is look, it's always lovely to see you, but it's also sad at the same time to see you like this. I mean, you used to be a beacon of optimism, but
I know.
you're coming to us with realness. We appreciate it. And look, talking of realness, I think we may have a fake red in the chat. We've got Juju104 who says, as a Liverpool fan, I'm disgusted by some of these.
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
We see you, Juju.
We see you. In all my years as a football and Liverpool fan, I've never seen a coach tactically better than a starter. Very good. Shout out to YouTube crew. I want to say, look, the main concern for me with this team is I'll repeat it, the way they are finishing the season. Because let's remember, last time we went to Villa and got completely mangled at 7-2. It was at the start of the season. We were in a complete spin, having won the title. Things were just, I don't know what happened, but at least there was a barnstorming finish, and we saw the shoots of progress and something to look forward to the following season. And it was a decent recovery the following season. But the more I'm watching this team, Mr. Samuj, the more I'm struggling to grasp onto any kind of like positives, if I'm honest. But we did have a positive in the second half. 7 minutes in, Virgil van Dijk headed home. 1-1. I think Soboslai crossed that in, isn't it? And he was in the right place at the right time. We've seen it quite a few times this season. They said it's his record scoring season for Liverpool. On the flip side, it's not been his best defensively by some margin. How were your optimism levels when that went in, and how did you feel Liverpool started that second half?
I just want to touch on their first goal. I do want to touch on their first goal.
Okay.
We didn't close down, and it's just been game after game, shot after shot. I keep repeating it on here. Everyone can see it. We're going to talk about it on the fourth goal as well. But like, just close the player down. It was well worked set piece. Just close them down. But I'm not going to labor the point because it is just rinse and repeat. In terms of into the second half, what's interesting, we actually had quite a bit of the ball at that point, and I think there was a point where actually Villa had just sat back and Watkins hadn't touched the ball for 20 minutes in our half, and they'd had 0 shots. We'd had about 4 or 5. They weren't good quality shots, but we were at least trying something. But that's also symptomatic of Slot, where we're conceding first. We go in at halftime, we come out, the players hit it roaring, and then you're like, oh, right, okay, why can't you just maintain this for a whole 90-minute period? And we get a goal, we get back in it. Yeah, someone say, it was a good cross, and actually, that's something we've been seeing quite a bit of. So we've also got to take that. And like you said, Van Dijk's the most goals he scored in a season. So like that is a positive, but we then get the goal, and then we kind of just like we panic. I just don't understand how a team as experienced as Liverpool, the current title holders, they just panic. And it's like we were just saying, Villa didn't have to do that much, but they had enough speed to know that actually we can sit back. They're not going to have good quality shots, and if we need to hit them on the break, we can. And we got lucky because Watkins was offside twice. So he was offside in the first half. He got booked, by the way, for kicking the ball after. We'll come on to that in a second.
Yeah, he had an eventful game, Watkins.
He had an eventful game. But then, remember, when we scored, literally less than 2 minutes later, he had another offside where he broke the trap. And it went in. And it's like, we've just got to 1-1, settled down for a bit, and just let the game reset itself. Don't give them opportunity. But like, less than 2 minutes later, he's got it in the back of the net again. Rinse and repeat. And like Neo said, we're losing in all phases, but midfield is just non-existent. So once they recycle the ball out of defense, there's no one in midfield. And then, Watkins has speed. Morgan Rogers has speed. We made Buendia look like he was on the Jamaica 4x100 relay team. Like, we were just letting them all just speed past us. So the optimism was short-lived because we didn't settle down, and Watkins showed that, okay, give me another trap. Keep giving me a trap. I've got the speed to get past, and one-on-one, I think the Mamardashvili criticism has to be tempered with look at what's in front of him. But Watkins one-on-one with any goalkeeper, you're gonna fancy him, and we just kept letting him do that. Really disappointing.
But even just to come in on that as well, it was the way that they kind of mixed it up. You can see even in the first half, they had a couple of times where Martinez had the ball, and they were like these really long, flat passes because they were trying to catch. Actually, they were trying to bypass the midfield. Yeah. They were like, we know that you're not doing anything, but we also know we've got the pace on your defense. And it was a mixture of like them either cutting through us or these long balls, where they were still in their half, but just on the cusp of that halfway line. They're like, we're not technically offside, but we're going to outdo you for pace. And it's just like they just didn't seem to know whether they were coming or going. whatever phase of play, whether it's defense or the midfield.
So how much
Yeah,
do you put
just-
that down to Slot for not being able to adapt to what he was seeing in front of him and react?
But is it the manager to adapt, or is it the players? The players have got to, the professional players, and like I say, a lot of them were in the team last year that won the Premier League. So they've got experience Premier League, they've got experience in the Champions League. So it's just kind of like, you know what? You've got to adapt. You've got to see that. And okay, if it happens once, okay, it caught you out. But when it's like 3, 4, 5 times in as many minutes, then you're like, come on, guys. Let's have a word with each other, with ourselves.
Well, let's be a bit optimistic, right? So Neo, Mr. Sandwich has spoken about. I know it's difficult. But he'd spoken about the pace that we got caught by, but we had a bit of pace of our own, right? Rio Ngamo, again, a bit of a shining light. Lots of industry purpose, zest. Really tried his best to spark us into life, and he came really close, didn't he, with that effort?
He did,
at
yeah.
the post. It's unfortunate that didn't go. And talking about his performance,
I think he played really well. It's still clear to see that he's very young, very raw. There's a couple of times he might dribble off the pitch or misplace a pass, but I think those things are normal. And
I'm only laughing because you're like the same age, aren't you?
he's younger than me.
He's still young, inexperienced. He's got plenty of spots. Much like you, Neo. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I was saying that I was scrolling on Twitter. I was seeing people complain that he wasn't passing enough. He was holding onto the ball for too long. But I think what he was doing in that game, beating his defender time and time again, and actually going for a shot, I'd much rather than someone who's just going to get the ball on the left wing and recycle it, which so many wingers do nowadays. So that's one thing I really like about him.
Chiesa. Oh,
yeah.
My heart sinks every time I see Chiesa in the Liverpool.
I don't know why he's still.
I don't even like him anymore.
Getting minutes, to be honest.
The song is not enough to warrant him still being at Liverpool.
Yes, yeah.
When I hear the song, it makes me sad. And I think to myself, Italy were really depending on this guy. He was there saving.
Fallen off a cliff.
Oh.
No.
He was
I think
there
that
saving.
also answers why they're not going to be at the World Cup. So
Goodness
Yeah.
me. I'm getting onto squad talk. We'll come to it. Right. Okay. So we hit the post with Rio. We think, okay, could be something in this. Again, the problem is, Miss Sandwich, we've had a lot of these matches where it feels in the balance.
Yeah.
We are Liverpool. So I don't want to see matches in the balance. I don't want excitement that is like knife edge. We may not. I want to feel we've come back into the game. Now it's a problem for the opposition because now we're going to turn up the heat and they're going to be cooked. Instead, what happens? More nice open space for them down the channels. And actually, the second goal, Ollie Watkins first, comes from an error from Szoboszlai. Morgan Rogers capitalizes, plays the ball into Watkins, who tucks it away. At that point, in my head, it was game done. I just had the feeling that this isn't a Liverpool team that can come back from this, which is sad. I don't want to dwell on Szoboszlai's error. Yes, he deserves criticism for it because he wasn't switched on fully. But talk to me about what happens after he loses the ball and if there's more that we can do. Jez, actually, let me come to Jez first because so you disagree with that. Maybe you do want to give some stick to Szoboszlai, our player of the season.
No, I don't want to give him a stick. I wouldn't say it was an error. I think it's just an unfortunate slip. And actually, you saw it quite a lot in that first half. There were quite a lot of players slipping on different parts of the pitch. And I was kind of screaming at the telly, just like, change the studs. Just change the studs. You're like, what's going on? So, I mean, those things happen. And ultimately, I think it kind of goes down to a lot of the things that we've been talking about so far in this pod and previous pods. It's like, how are you reacting? How are you switched on? How are you watching the game to go, okay, this is now has happened. Now let me do something about it. And it's just too much kind of ball watching, just like, or you're not even ball watching, just like, actually, that's happened. And the time they actually get engaged the brain to like react, it's done.
Yeah,
it's done. So, I can't hold it, but I think that's also very, very kind of, what's the word, kind of symptomatic of just our season. It's like, it's just another thing that's just gone against us. And I I mean, I was just disappointed. I think that I've kind of said before that we seem to be a team that can maybe only play one half of football decently, as whatever that decent level is. And I kind of think we weren't quite there enough first half, and I just didn't see anything that second half, and that just was here we go.
Mr. Samuel, do you want to come in on that second goal and how you felt when that went in?
Yeah, no, I agree, Jez, that it was a slip, but it was symptomatic. It really was, and like Villa, I think. So what I was saying on the back of our equaliser, I think they also saw, oh, there's no second wave coming. There's no period of dominance. We might as well go for it. The crowd will run it, and we literally allowed them to build confidence. And yeah, like they get into every ball first. They're actually putting the risk. You know, sometimes you've also got to be in a position to capitalize on a mistake. So if you're actually on it, you're like, right, okay, I'm still going to make the run in the channel. Okay, fine, it doesn't come, but like you've got to stay ready to, you know. And I think that was in the preparation of like the players, especially after, like I said, after that Watkins offside immediately after our goal, it took the wind out of our sails. And I think that's why Buendia's then thinking, no, I'm going to go for that. I'm going to try and stick a foot in. And that was symptomatic. We lost battles all over the pitch. We lost battles in every position of the pitch. Kerkez, he had a bit of a nightmare as well. There was a chance where he gave it away. Luckily, he recovered. Konate wasn't good. We had nothing down the right hand side. You got
say that again. Konate wasn't what?
Konate, he was not very good at all. Like again, you know, copy and paste. You got Curtis Jones trying to do back heels, and you're just like, what are we doing? So like, you do that against a team that they're not on the beach. They're thinking, right, we've got a game in 3 days. This is our last home game.
Are they playing on Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Yeah. So that's why we had to get moved earlier. Yeah. So yeah, they're just more on it, and I think that we've seen this a lot this season where teams think, oh gosh, we're playing Liverpool, and then after you're like, oh, we're playing Liverpool. Like that little switch of mentality of that's not the Liverpool we played last season. So like, why should we be scared of them? And you could see it in the game. You could see it every minute passing. There was, like you said, Drew, there wasn't a point where it was in the balance and you thought it could swing our way. There just wasn't any point at all. So there was no swing, and there wasn't going to be a swing. It was a matter of, right, they're probably going to score quite a few. So like, let's try and keep it respectable. And we just didn't.
Guys, look, I when I scheduled this post-match for Friday, I thought I might be able to, whatever the result, get a bit of positivity out of you guys. You failed, all of you. But I think the team deserve more blame than you guys do. Look, I wanted to talk about Ollie Watkins because he got that second goal. Nia, what's your view on Ollie Watkins? Because my and you may not have memory of like peak years of English strikers, right? And there's been many years where we've looked across Premier League and thought, oh, there's a lot of strikers that England have at their disposal. Ollie Watkins is probably the only serious guy, unless you regard Danny Welbeck as a viable option for England. And then maybe who else? Who else would you say? I think you kind of scratch around.
That's about it, really.
Danny Welbeck, I guess.
The lap.
Yeah. I mean, did we just make him look really good? How good is he?
We always make him look really good.
Yeah,
that's
because
the problem.
They said he's got like 7 and 9 or something.
Yeah. I feel like every time we play them, he scores. Ever since the 7-2, sorry, I think that was his first game, one of his first games for Villa, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's fine for them. Yeah.
Scored a brace that game, and then since then he's just loved playing against us.
I think is it about the way he plays, or what is it that makes him?
Yeah, we tend to struggle against quick strikers. I think. Yeah. I don't know if that's a tactical thing, but it's been like that since Klopp. I feel like there's just a certain type of striker which we just tend to struggle against. They always just tend to get in behind us.
Yeah, you're right. He's a traditional target man.
Yeah,
but he's not like electric.
He's not the most prolific.
Pace.
No,
and he's not that. Yeah, he's not that fast.
Yeah, he's not electric pace, but he seems to have decent movement. It's enough to unsettle defenses. But ask Villa fans, and they will tell you he's had quite a patchy season. He spent quite a lot of time on the bench. It's not like we should have come into this game thinking, oh, we're facing one of the informed strikers in the league. He's been good this season, okay to good. no more than that. But
No.
yeah, I was wondering when I was just watching him, I was thinking, why do we always suffer against this guy? There's certain strikers like him, Richarlison.
Yeah.
Better.
Better. It doesn't matter.
Even Vardy at a point, wasn't it? Vardy used to like cause us problems.
Yeah, I think Vardy just hurt everyone, right? But you know what? Whatever form they're in, they'll see Liverpool. They'll be like, okay, yeah, I can do this today.
Because we're never the most defensively solid team, I feel like. So for a striker, they definitely look forward to playing against us.
Yeah.
As opposed to other teams in the league, which are far more defensive. Whereas we don't sit back as much.
Yeah.
Well, look, guys, Champions League qualification is assured for Aston Villa. They qualified for the Champions League tonight, beating Liverpool 4-2. Shout out to the YouTube crew joining us. Make sure you leave a comment and let us know how you feel, unless you are pretending, masquerading as a Liverpool supporter, in which case, pissed off, okay? And if you're watching back on whatever podcast engine you listen to this on, we appreciate your company. Hit that notification bell. Show us all the love you need to boost the pod and help us grow. We appreciate you. Right, Mr. Sandwich, should we talk about some more Villa goals? We've done 2 out of 4 so far.
Do we have to?
I often give credit to teams for really good goals, and then you guys are like, hey, Drew wasn't that good. We should have closed that. Oh, come on, that McGinn strike. Are you telling Leo?
Drew, are you serious? Drew, space and keeper should have saved. I don't want to get onto Mamadashvili, but he got a hand to it. You need to get a stronger hand to it. So, like the first one, I think was a great shot from Rodgers, and I don't think actually the keeper's not going to be able to. The McGinn one.
Oh, hang on. Have I even talked about?
No, I was going to say you
haven't talked about Watkins tapping.
Sorry, oh my god!
Rewind. Craig David time. Rewind. Okay.
Rewind.
All right.
Sorry. Oh my god.
Crowd just say boo. We're saying boo, y'all.
We were definitely booing. I got ahead of myself because I'm trying to rush myself off this podcast so I can properly enjoy my Friday evening. But why don't you talk to me, Miss Sandwich, about that amazing tapping from Ollie Watkins
about Lindelof? Right. Okay. So to be fair, Mamadou really made 2. He made 2 saves, 2 shot blocking saves right there. Yeah. I have to give him, like, this is the thing. I really can't. I'm struggling to get onto Mamadou because he's actually doing his job. There reaches a point where it's like, okay, there's generally only so many shots I can save. Oh, and if Ollie Watkins is going to have a tap in 5.5 yards from goal, maybe someone should man mark him. Someone that's already scored in this game, someone that's got the ball in the back of the net and he's enjoying himself. Maybe he should be man marked. Mamadou really made 2 good saves at the start. Obviously, you want your keeper to push it out, but I'm so sorry. Ollie Watkins also can't just be unmarked 5.5 yards from goal. Like he just can't.
The optics are not good. At that point, I wanted VAR to get involved.
I was like, he must. I promise you, I'm like, he must be offside. And then you watch it, you're like, no one.
My instinct was. This can't be right. You can't have been left like this, but there you go.
Yeah.
Jez, I see your body language.
Because I noted it. Because I was like, he's offside, surely. And then you look, it's Chiesa playing him on because he's ball watching. So actually, if you look at the positioning, you've got Chiesa who's just drifted back. And it's just like, dude, if you're in line with the rest of your defenders, that's offside. The goal doesn't stand. But it's just little things where you've got people who just aren't playing as a team or just doing their own things. Like, why do you want to be a hero? Okay, he's bailed us out sometimes where he has dropped back onto the line or close to the goalkeeper to like get blocks off on the line or whatever. But that was, I look at that and go, that's where the error was.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, Jez, as I'm watching you on this podcast,
like 10 minutes.
You're getting more and more wound up.
Because you keep reminding us of all their goals.
You knew you were coming on to discuss four goals.
I know. It's those little things, and that's like Mr. Summers said earlier. You know, it's not one thing in any one game. Every game is a different set of the same different shit, but the same shit at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why it's especially worrying and concerning, right? Because when we talk about the future and Slot, if he does stay on, how he's going to turn this around. Because it's like what's that game? Guacamole, when you back down the badges.
Guacamole, yeah.
It's kind of like that. So many different issues.
Yeah.
If it is like one thing that you can see, here's a discernible thing. We need to fix this. Here's our issue, or a couple of things that we're doing wrong. But it's also the vibe, the spirit of the team. They look to me like they couldn't really be asked tonight. Yeah, maybe that's it's an easy thing for me to say as a fan, and maybe it's just my current negative state of mind watching this team and what we've seen over the past few weeks against Chelsea, etc. But these guys really just looked quite lethargic and ready to be beaten. Am I being unfair here?
I don't think you're being unfair at all. It's looked like that all season, to me anyway. There's not one game where I've thought, wow, we really tried there. Like, we really got unlucky. All the losses kind of just feel deserved. Even Chelsea last week outran us. And I think they had been outrun by every team the whole season. So that's what it looks like to me. It's like the players, I don't think they buy into the manager, to be honest. And I feel like they're all just waiting for that holiday at the end of the season, even though it's the World Cup. So maybe they're saving themselves for that. I don't know. Maybe they're still in the restaurant. Yeah.
They're still in the restaurant. Like...
I'm not sure what. Do you guys know why Verts didn't start today? Because I know he was ill.
Because he's not very consistent.
I think it's
last
in
week,
his
but
doesn't it? So I think
his stomach.
Yeah.
If he's feeling better, then he should be starting. I feel like because it's not a muscle injury or anything.
It was well enough to come on.
Yeah. Exactly. That's things like that. I don't feel like these players are given 100%.
They're not.
No.
Okay, so look, we were talking about Ollie Watkins, and I was questioning how good he is really and why we're always suffering at his hands, and the fact that he seems to be a bit of a shoe-in after Harry Kane for this England squad, but he's not really been that good for the season. He's been good, but not that good.
Yeah.
But he delivered tonight. He was a striker who showed up. He was there. You know, one striker who wasn't there for us, guys? Alexander Isak. Now, I don't think I'm one of those people who looks for negativity or shuns positive signs or hope. But I'm losing hope with this guy, Mr. Sandwich, because what did they say? The best ability is availability.
Availability, yeah.
And I believe we may have been sold a dud. The reaction on social media to him not being game ready, I think was kind of predictable.
Yeah.
But I found myself unable to shun that feeling myself of just not again. Do I just need to get over and accept that next season is likely to start afresh and deliver for us? Or what are your worry levels around Alexander Isak and that deal that we did?
I take them separately. I think we knew we were signing a relatively injury-prone player, and we still decided to take the risk. I think football has a bit of this problem. It's like, well, our season's been over, right? So, like, for me personally, I'm not going to get disappointed that he's not. I mean, I said a couple of weeks ago, he can't even play one game a week. So I'm like, I'm not going to be disappointed again today when I knew he didn't play last week. I think it's that point where the season's a write-off. I'm not going to make my judgment now on Isak because, like, it's not if he scored 4 goals next week, yeah, it'd feel great, but we wouldn't then be like, oh, what a great signing. So, like, you know, his first season at Liverpool is already in the books, and I'm not famous last words. The reason why I'm not worried is because we're hoping it's just a fitness issue. So this isn't a striker we've signed from another league and they're going to struggle to adapt. And we've seen that with so many clubs, you know, the Forlands, the whoever's, where these are top quality strikers and they just can't cut it in the Premier League. This is a Premier League proven top striker who's had an awful awful bout of injuries and setbacks all season. And sometimes you're like, it's not my year. This is not my year. Anything I try is not working. Anytime I feel I'm coming back, it's not coming back. I feel like we almost should have just shut him down, just let him do some fitness behind closed doors, because we know he's going to go to the World Cup. So we know that he actually, even for the players, that actually we know you're going to go to the World Cup. So why would you push yourself for Villa away on a Friday night in game week 37 when the World Cup's 3 weeks away? Like, so I think that we can only start to judge him next season when he's had hopefully a full preseason, because he didn't have a preseason this year. And every professional will tell you, if you've not got a preseason, you might as well write off until January. He then starts to come back, scores against West Ham, scores against Spurs, and literally breaks his leg.
Yeah, it's bad.
Very, very unlucky. So I'm not, like you say, the reaction's predictable. Everything about the reaction to everything Liverpool is predictable. Every Arnie Slot press conference, every Mo Salah Instagram, but everything's so predictable that we just need the season to end, because something you raised at the start about, the noise and stuff, actually, genuinely, even for us that do a pod, like after next Sunday, it's just going to die down because we don't have to think about it. We've got a Champions League final coming up. We've literally got a World Cup the week after. And then in mid-June, we'll be like, oh, yeah, Arnie Slot's still the manager. Oh, right, okay. And then at that point, it's like, well, you can't do anything about it anyway, so we might as well just wait until the season starts. So I've got the same with Isak, where I'm going to see him at the World Cup, be like, oh, okay, well, all right, fine, at least he's playing. Maybe he gets a goal or two. I don't think Sweden are going all the way. And I'll be like, okay, cool. Hopefully he's going to keep that up. So, yeah, I'm like, this season's over, so I'm really not taking any more lessons in May, because United, we lost. Chelsea, we drew. We lost today. Nothing's going to happen next week that's going to change my mind about this season.
But can I come in on that, though? Can I just challenge you a bit?
Yeah.
Because I find it really difficult to accept that a player can be like, yeah, I don't have to push myself too much on a Friday night against Villa because I'm going to the World Cup, because your club form should be the thing that gets you to a World Cup. And maybe that's part of the issue. Maybe because of the quality, I think, in just the general squad for a country like Sweden versus for other people like, Konate, he's really trying to push to get into a...
Well, it's him and Gyökeres. So he knows even if he played 5 games this season, he's getting on that plane. So I can completely see why he wouldn't be fully motivated to risk.
I know, but you need to show yourself. You need to show yourself. But if your club form doesn't dictate whether you get to your national team or not, then you're going to get people who are going to put in less than 100%. Whereas there are some people where you'd feel like, actually, if you really want to get into your national side, then you need to be giving it for your club. And I think that kind of worries me. Even like you've got, I love the man, and I'm so sad when he goes, Andy Robertson. He's going to the World Cup. The dude ain't played. How many minutes has he played for Liverpool? So there are some players where, and I'm not putting Andy Robertson in the, I know, but I'm not putting him in the same mold as Isak, but there are just some players that just have that, where, like Salah, Salah's always going to play for Egypt, regardless of what his club form is. But for other people, it is more of a bigger deal. But I'm kind of like, what, your bread and butter is your club. It's your club football. It's how you represent and how you show up. And that's what really disappoints me so much about a lot of these players, that they're just not. But what's the consequence?
I get that. I think it's just the reality, and I think because especially this season and these last couple of months, we're seeing season-ending injuries. We've seen it ourselves. We're seeing, Esteban at Chelsea, Hakimi. I think, I fully agree with you, Jez, in terms of, actually it should be a motivator. But I think where football is now, and this is a much wider discussion, football's eating itself. We're going to see more and more of it, because players are going to think, I'm in my 50. This is okay. We've not played 50. Some of these Arsenal players, they're going to finish the season playing 55 games, right? There are going to be injuries at the World Cup, and then your season's going to be over. We're seeing it. Innocuous challenges now rules you out for the World Cup. So, whilst I get and broadly agree with your point, I also think we're now in mid-May. A lot of countries have actually started declaring their squads as well. Some have gone quite early. I think England are doing next week, but like France released theirs and a couple others. I think it's just human nature. We're seeing it from a lot of our players, but we are also seeing it in a lot of other teams who don't necessarily have anything they're playing for. And we're also seeing those that do have something to play for, their seasons are ending. Hakimi, I don't think he's going to make the World Cup. Some of these Real Madrid players who picked up injuries, and now almost everyone's almost game to game. Like, actually, is it that World Cup opportunity? And a country like Sweden, they don't go every World Cup. Esteval, Brazil go every World Cup. Hopefully, in 4 years' time, he'll be a great talent. France, they go every single time. But yeah, if you play for a Sweden or some of these other teams, I just think it's natural, to be honest.
Italy.
Yeah.
all these kind of teams.
All these countries.
Maybe I'm a bit in that Jamie Carragher club versus country.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my position on all of that.
I suppose we better say hi to Grey Sauce. He's a bit of an attention seeker. A bit of a prat as well. But,
have we been circulated in some? Oh yeah, up the Villa. Yeah, yeah. The Villa back. Well, fair enough for the Villa. We've been infiltrated.
Wow, I really hope that
I like to Mr. Brown. By the way, Mr. Brown, I hope you guys go ahead and win that trophy. Villa, they're one of those teams who have a likable manager, have plenty of wonderful players, and I haven't really got beef with them. I do hope they achieve what Spurs did last year. But anyway, look, I guess we should come to that fourth goal. Mr. Sandwich, I know, is going to have some views on it. He thinks it was spectacular, like I do. Neo, how did you see that goal? John McGinn curling in. Yes, it could have been challenged, but it was precision.
It's a great finish.
It was power. It was placement. Come on.
It was a great finish, but it's just too easy for me. No one's closing him down. We don't learn our lesson. It's like every goal we concede has something to do with us not closing the player down. I don't know why John McGinn's got so much space and time on the edge of our box. And Mamadash really gets a hand to it. Obviously, before I said he should save it, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me speaking a bit emotionally rather than logically.
In any goal that goes in against us.
Yeah, it's a good goal. I can't argue too much, but I do think he should be closed down because John McGinn's very good from range as well. So you shouldn't be giving him that much time on the edge of the box.
He kind of has a reputation, right?
Yeah, exactly. Certain players, you don't let them shoot.
I think by that point they're
when you're 3-1 down, really it's like
they weren't about to close down. They're like, which beach?
But then surely at the same time you gotta have a bit of pride. Because once it gets to 4-1, that's like it's embarrassing.
Yep. Agree.
Thankfully, the Van Dijk goal kind of makes it less embarrassing in a sense of it being 4-2, but it's just sad.
Well, we'll come to that goal now because that was clearly the highlight of my evening. But I know Miss Sandwich is waiting there to shower praise upon John McGinn's delicious finish. Hit us with it.
No, as the previous speaker said, it's rinse and repeat. If you're not going to close down Premier League players and Premier League players who can shoot, whether it's who's that Fulham guy? I've forgotten his name now. Harrison Reed. These are Premier League players, and actually, if you don't shut them down, they're going to think, "Hold on, why not?" Because think about it. Think about every time Joe Gomez shoots, it's because no one closes him down, right? So but we're doing it to better players who can actually score, and it's like, come on.
So you're telling me that all Premier League players have it within them to do something special. So you're saying there's a chance. There's a chance. Oh, except Joe Gomez.
Joe Gomez.
Yeah. Okay. He's exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Brown says he's our Villa infiltrator, most underrated Premier League player around. So, I think it's got to be in the top 10.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's underrated, but he's definitely got a trick or two in the bag for sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown, if you want to see more depressed Liverpool chat each and every single week after every Premier League game, even though you're not a Liverpool fan, just hit that subscribe button. And join the gang. Jez, I'll let you have your say on that goal because you're kind of itching to contribute on that one.
I'm just itching with something. I don't know about that. But no, I think it was just I was just kind of in my head thinking, how many goals have we conceded as well? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, what do they say? The definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same result. And I think that's just been it. It was a beauty. Could the keeper have done better? Kind of, yeah, maybe. But I think the angle was always in the guy's favour, and he did get a hand to it. But at that point, it was done. And I think what really kind of upset me was at the start of the game that they said that even that we were equal in all ways, weren't we? A number of games won, drawn, lost, and all the rest of it. We had the stronger goal difference. We were plus 12, they were plus 4. And at that point, I was just like, yeah, okay, it's not going to materially affect it, but they're just a lot closer to us than they were at the start of the game. And that's not always a good thing when you're struggling so much. And, you know, it could take a really bad defeat and a really big win for them to really cause us problems. But yeah, it's just that closing down. But I think at that point, not at that point, at some point, maybe, I don't know, the second minute, they just were like, oh, give up. They just give up. And yeah.
I'm going to challenge that definition of madness. I know it's attributed to Shakespeare. People say it because it sounds profound, but he actually didn't say that. He didn't say.
What did he say?
But he said something completely different.
Come on, you Reds.
What he said was, Gakpo should not be starting ahead of Mo Salah, and he was completely right about that.
We've got to talk about the subs.
Yeah, Mr. Sandwich. Well, you can talk about subs. You can talk about Salah because we've not had our Salah section yet. Floor's open to you. What the fuck was Gakpo doing in that starting 11?
Who's that too?
You know what? I just
go on. All right. I thought that was a pause where you're like, shall I speak? No, but you have nothing to say.
Like, I don't know what more to say. You know, the thing with Gakpo, for someone who, you know, almost every player always wants, you know, I just want to be the 9. I want to be in front of goal. I want to be the one to, and then he does nothing. He literally does nothing. He doesn't even get a shot off. The chance, the Rio and Gomorrah chance that came out, you see, that's the difference, because when Ollie Watkins is 5 to 8 yards from goal and the ball deflects to him, he's got the composure to slot it in. Gakpo, he just sticks a leg out, it somehow goes over, and you're just like, what is going on? We have a lot of injuries, so like, yeah, like, you know, he had to play because clearly Wirtz and Salah weren't going to start, but man, this is I do feel sorry for Gakpo actually, because it's not for a lack of trying, but it's just not working. It is not working because you have some strikers who they're just lazy. They're not even trying. They're not even tracking. They're not trying to 1-2s. Gakpo's trying it and it's just not working. And I think that is the scarier thing, that actually he is trying and it's just not working.
What are you trying? What are you saying? He's trying.
No, do you know what? He had a bit of movement. He had a bit, like a little.
Mr. Sandwich says it's not like he's not trying, and Jez, you'll continue to find him trying. Why do you think he started?
Do you know what? And this is what.
And by the way, Jez, before I go any further, right?
Go on.
That wrongly attributed definition of madness quote, right?
Please.
What he actually said was, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Now, Gakpo, he's a problem. He's a problem because he's not got a confidence. He's not got a finishing touch. He's not a threat. He's not got movement. He just finish what I'm saying here. He's not the one, is he?
No, he's not got the movement. And actually, I put it out with their third goal about Chiesa being deep ball watching. I think Gakpo does a lot of that when he's in the middle of the pitch. And sometimes, like, you know, you need to react or get back on side quickly so that when the ball comes in quick, and he's just too slow, lethargic. Yeah. And I was critical of him after the Chelsea game. And I mentioned it on the other pod, you know, there's other people behind me like calling him out. And I was like, I'm with you. And then Isak came on exactly the same thing. So then it comes down to, it's a formation, it's how the team was set up. Because actually, whether it's Gakpo or in that game last week with us, Isak, they're struggling to find the guy who's up front. So they can't find the striker for the striker to do what the striker should be doing, or whoever's playing in that particular position. So there's elements of me that kind of goes, is the manager setting up this team to do the best that they can do with the players that are going to play that? I think he's so fixed on this formation, on whatever formation, that there's no in-game management of that to go, you know what, it's not quite working, or we're not really playing to this person's strengths. So then you get people who are just out. So I think it's a combination of the two. And then going to looking at those substitutions, you know, when he took off Gomez and then he put then Kirkers, I think, went right to the right side, and I was just like, he was all
What's
right.
going on? Yeah,
He was all right on the left. So I was like, well, now what is this formation that you're playing, or where are people? I think they just got lost with that, which says where they needed to be. So there's some of it you kind of got to go. That's down to how they're being set up and how they're being asked to play. But yeah, the guy's he's invisible, and you don't. And I always say with ball sports, it's not always about what you do with the ball; it's also what you do without the ball as well. And if you're not getting the ball, make the move, pull defenders out, give another of your teammates the space to run into, or give the defender something to think about. And there's like nothing on so many fronts.
October 2020 was the last time Liverpool lost to Aston Villa Football Club in the Premier League.
Really?
Yes, so that was 10.
I feel like we lose to them a
Yeah.
lot. Oh.
Well. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Shows you how bad this is, Neo. That's how bad this is.
Exactly. You were barely a teenager, Neo. Barely. But anyway, now, guys, we have one more fixture left. But first of all, are you guys even bothered about that game next week? Because I think there's so much going on around the league in terms of drama with the title race, potentially with the relegation race too, that I'm just not that excited. Mr. Savage, kind of where are your thoughts at with Liverpool? You kind of answered this earlier when we were talking about Isak specifically, but Liverpool, if they put in a good performance, does it change your thinking about the manager at all? They've got Brentford at home. It's going to be a bit of a tricky one, but at the same time, it's the last home game, so you'd expect a good performance, right? Surely that should count for something, no?
You'd hope so. I think we're in this position, and Jazz will definitely be able to speak on this more, where we're in that position where if we lose or we're not playing well, like the crowd noise, rightly so, honestly, rightly so, it becomes so much that it becomes really hard to ignore, because a lot of times it's, we lost 4-2. Imagine if we'd lost 4-2 at Anfield tonight in the last home game. Like, we would have been having a different discussion. So he's almost a little bit lucky that, you know what, he's just about somehow, by hook or by crook, kept the Anfield form semi-respectable, where it's draw. Chelsea was a draw, but in April we beat Palace and we beat Fulham, and because they were already thinking about other things. But it has been quite a while where the next defeat at Anfield could have been the one that tips it over the edge. So I think in that sense, there's just that little bit. If it looks really bad next week, it'll be really difficult to then not, that thing I said about, we don't need to think about Liverpool. It becomes really difficult to then not think about Liverpool, because that's the sour taste we get at the end. So I'm hoping it's a chance to celebrate Salah, celebrate Robertson. Hopefully Alisson will be in the crowd. We can celebrate him too. And just end it on a high and just be like, you know what? This is about a testimonial for Salah. Hopefully, Man City beat Bournemouth 7-0 for the goal difference, so Bournemouth will be out of the picture, and Brighton hopefully maybe get a draw somewhere in their next 2 games. So we're not actually having to chase the result, because then it'll be really nervy, really edgy, and then we might end up playing how we have been recently. Whereas if it's that testimonial vibe, everyone, will celebrate Salah, will celebrate Robbo, and then that can be the goodbye to the season, rather than, we had to score in the 80th minute to get a draw to get in the Champions League. That will just be a really sour taste.
Yeah, to say the least. And because I always think about disappointing end of season games. Top of my list is like the Stevie Gerrard one.
Yeah,
where, it was against Palace, I think it was. We really suffered at their hands over the years. But let's hope we don't get a repeat of that. Shout out to Khalid, who's left a couple of comments. Guys, thank you so much for your interaction on the chat tonight. You could have been anywhere else on a Friday, but for some reason you
Thank
decided
you.
to come and either hate watch or just join our misery. We appreciate it either way. And he says Brentford is tougher than Villa at home. Disagree with you on that one, basically because it's at home, and there should be more motivation to win the game. And they're not as good a team as Villa, also. But he also says, which is interesting, it's not Gakpo's fault because he doesn't have a strike instinct. It's Slot. So he doesn't notice it, and he plays him out of position. Is that fair to say, Neo? He's played out of position. Surely his form just hasn't justified being picked at all.
Yeah, I do. Naturally, he's obviously not a striker. Yeah, I do quite agree with that. I think Slot playing him there, persisting with him there, it's not. I can't name one game where that's actually worked. So, but at the same time, he's not got any other options. So if you are gonna be played there, you have to at least show something to warrant you actually starting. Because at the end of the day, you are a Premier League forward. There's not an excuse to say I'm not a striker, I can't press, or I can't try and link up. But again, with Slot, any striker that we have tends to be pretty non-existent in games. So that's also a tactical thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, including our third choice striker, Chiesa, who Khaled also mentions. I just think he just needs to leave the club like super quickly.
Yeah.
If there's no kind of official goodbye, I've not got a problem with it. If he doesn't receive a plaque or flowers or whatever, it's fine. You can put him in a post. He's just a weird kind of footballer where he almost looks like you remember Igor Biscan, Jez? He's the striking version. Do you remember? How can we forget? He's the striking version of Igor.
That's harsh on Igor Biscan. Igor Biscan had some impact. That is harsh. That is harsh.
Me. He said it's
I remember
harsh.
Biscan.
He said it's harsh on Igor.
Yeah.
Igor was one of those guys who looks like he was annoyed because you just got him up out of bed too early on a Sunday, and you asked him to do house chores. He always used to be scratching his head, looking
Always,
really confuddled and befuddled. I'm making up words. And I kind of get that vibe with Chiesa. He looks busy, and people like him because he looks active and he's passionate, and he's remonstrating when decisions go against us because he's done something stupid like foul someone, and he's not getting in the right positions, or he just misses a chance. You know what? He's just not a good footballer, and Liverpool need more good footballers next season. I mean, Neo's so upset about it. He's just gone.
He's gone. He's had enough.
The Chiesa chat. Shout out to Spencer Stewart. So it shouldn't have come to this. I agree, Spencer Stewart.
Quickly.
No worries, mate. He says the fact we're basically falling over the line for Champions League when nobody else wants it is a joke. He's got such a great point, hasn't he, Jez? Because ordinarily, first of all, you wouldn't be looking at 5th for a Champions League spot. That's number one. Secondly, you wouldn't be looking down to 8th or 9th position as, we've got a chance of this.
Yeah.
How bad, if Liverpool finish 4th, I touched on this earlier, how bad would you say the rest of the league have been?
I don't think it's the rest of the league being bad. I think it's just the rest of the league being competitive. Because like I said earlier, even those kind of top 6 places, there's been movement. So it's been a number of different teams that have occupied those places in and around us. But no, it is really bad. And like I said, nobody wants it. And I think that's the only thing that saved us, because actually on this form, we should be like 9th, 10th, 11th. We should be a lot further down the league. We wouldn't be talking about Europe at all next season. Even
we lost
in
12,
the
and the season's not over. We lost 12 league games.
Yeah, 12 league games. Was it 19 games across all competitions or something that I'd read? And then, when I looked at it, I was just like, we've got 59 points. We won the league on 84. We should have won it on 90 plus if they just weren't partying and actually carried on playing competitively or whatever. And then when I looked at it from when the Premier League started in 92, 93, there's only been 5 times when Liverpool have got less than 60 points. We are threatening, like, to go from those dizzy heights of last season to breaking all kinds of records. I think the manager is on course for the worst kind of season with Liverpool in terms of defeats. I think there's 5 times where we've had less than 60 points. I think that the most recent was, what did I write down? 2011, 2012. We had 52, and we're a bit better than that. But we're not that far off it.
Yeah.
Was it Palace and Forest have conceded less goals? We've got the same number of defeats as Leeds United, who've just recently secured Premier League status. And so in terms of that just shows you how mad the league's been, that all of that stuff is happening. But here we are. Yeah, we're still in content. It's in our hands, but I don't even know if I don't know what our hands are holding on to right now.
Yeah, Spencer Stewart, we've seen that stat. Winless against the top 9 away. That's appalling.
It's not good. On so many levels. But...
This summer just says is how mad the league has been. I just think how bad it's been. I'm just like, we shouldn't even be in of a chance, as she says. I almost think like I'll go back to when we got, was it 4th place? Yeah, it must have been 4th place under Klopp after we won the league. And we referenced it earlier, that abject start, and then we just recovered. We had the Alisson header. There was so much momentum, so much steam. We actually went on a solid run. No one who's competing for this top 5, if you like, is going on a solid run where you're like, wow. If they'd started this earlier, they might have been in contention for title challenge. And I just don't see. I don't see it with any of the teams around us to think, oh yeah, I can picture you in the Champions League next year. I include ourselves. I can see you doing something. Standard, has it got worse?
We finished 3rd.
Well, there you go.
We snuck into 3rd. We snuck.
I think it's an interesting conversation. It's maybe it's an episode on its own, actually, the quality, because what's happened is the Premier League, the quality has spread a lot wider. So there are better players in more teams, right? Yeah. You think about, West Ham at 18th, they've got a Bowen, and Wolves and Burnley have really cast off, but 12 months ago, Wolves had Cunha, who's gone for 55, 60 million. So I think that there are better players across more teams, which has brought everyone a little bit closer. But what you have is the best of the best will still have a bit of a gap. So just like when it was Liverpool and City, there was a big gap. Liverpool last year, and obviously Arsenal and City, they've got a bit of a gap, but everyone else is just so much closer to each other. So what happens is an Aston Villa and a Chelsea can be firmly in the top 4 in January, and they can fall off. But that's because they're playing other competitions and the relentlessness of the Premier League, that a team like Chelsea have lost 6 in a row. Conversely, Man United can also then just be only playing Premier League once a week, and they can concentrate on that, and they're able to then build that momentum. But no one can think, Man United on points might be firmly in 3rd. They're nowhere near the top 2. Like they might as well be playing a different league, right? But everyone else is significantly closer. Bournemouth, I think, are on an 18-game unbeaten run somehow. Like, these are the kind of things that actually show that the quality has come a lot closer, specifically in the middle. So the middle class of the Premier League has really, really burgeoned. And Liverpool are firmly in that this season. Like a team that, like Jez said, 84 points last year, struggling to crack 60 this year. Yeah, because we're not beating teams in the top 10, because the Bournemouths, the Brentfords, they've got better players as well. Brighton absolutely walked all over us at the end of March. So I think the quality is there. But when the big teams drop their quality, Spurs, Man United last year, Liverpool and Chelsea this year, the other teams are very, very good, and they're going to capitalize on that.
And I think just to add to that as well, I think what you're starting to see, I mean, it's mad that, what would you say, you can get down to 8th or 9th in Europe this season. So those teams would have had a couple of good players, and they would have moved on. They would have got hoovered up by the top 4, because they're like, you know what, we want to play in Europe. We want to play European football. We kind of really want the Champions League. But the more teams then you get qualifying in that competition, they're just going to hold on to their players more. And what's the reason for them to leave? It's like, you know what, you'll get a run. And because of the nature of our team and our squad, if you are a decent enough player, you're going to be in those starting 11s, rather than, okay, you might be in, you might not be in. So I think that adds another dimension to it. And I think kind of go back to was it Glasgow with Gay going like, you're not
Yeah.
going, because actually they had a decent kind of path ahead of them in terms of their league season and the competitions that they were in as well. So I think that makes it a bit more difficult for some of the traditional top four clubs to maintain that kind of power and that hold, because there's other teams around them just like, but we're kind of starting to occupy the same spaces as you, and we're more likely to hold on to our top players to do that.
Yeah, which has been a big difference right across the board. Neil, I guess we should talk about the fourth goal. I tried to kind of
Tried to avoid it.
but Virgil van Dijk, he scored his 6th goal in the Premier League this season. It's a record for him. It's a career high. And by the way, record number of assists for Dominic Szoboszlai. It's only his third season. Seven in total. Do you want to tell me how good you felt when that goal went in, and how
I felt amazing when that went in.
How
So
much
happy.
you felt the comeback was on?
Nah, not at all, to be honest.
No? Okay, good. Now let's move on. So we don't need to talk about that game. Sorry to that too, Leo.
It's all right.
Just the kind of guy I am, especially when it comes to performances and defeats like this. I switch. Right. Okay. So look, what to talk about before we go? Last week, Jez.
Yeah.
There was footage of me at a different ground, different Premier League ground, and I was after. You know what I was after, Jez?
Go on, explain yourself. I've been waiting for this.
I will, and then you'll reveal what it was. I was after jeopardy. I was after passion. I was after edge. I wanted drama. I wanted to feel the tension, Jez. Where was I?
West Ham.
I was at Apiyama.
Wow.
Yeah, I learned some eye-opening songs that afternoon. In particular, the one about Danny Dyer.
Yeah.
You
I've not
guys
heard
heard
it.
that one? Okay,
We're
well,
not going to repeat it on this.
Google it. I mean, Danny Dyer, as in Danny double N-Y. His daughter Dani is married to Jared Bowen.
Jared Bowen.
Yeah. So is a fruity chant about those guys. But apart from that, I was blowing bubbles in injury time because I thought West Ham had equalised. Now I want to talk about VR a little bit, but we'll come on to the title race. From where I was, it was pandemonium to start with, first of all. And at that moment, I thought, yes, I've got the passion I was craving that Liverpool haven't given me. Basically, because they're not that rubbish, but they don't really entertain. But it felt awful. I felt awful for them because when the goal was disallowed, we had to wait a full 5-6 minutes. I was behind the goal where it was scored with the Rowdy Hammers, and I actually saw the grappling going on. And when the referee was checking it, I didn't think, or when he was waiting for the message to come through to his earpiece, I didn't think that it was going to be disallowed. If anything, I thought he might have called a foul and given a penalty.
Yeah.
From where you were sitting, how did you see it, and what were your VAR vibes, I guess, at the end of the game? Because it was a major talking point, wasn't it?
Me? Yeah. I mean, and it's ironic, our friend with these comments in the chat about Liverpool, it's not been Liverpool at all this season, and it's just kind of like, you kind of feel like the game's gone. It's like there's no consistency.
What has it been, Jez? What has it been? Arsenal?
Yeah, with Arsenal, I think, for this season. But there was so many things happening in that. If it wasn't that Declan Rice behind the dude was all over the player pulling him down. They were like, you could have looked at about 10 incidents in that box at all. I've not much to say because that's just been Arsenal the way that they've done it. They've not played particularly sexy football. Okay, they have to play sexy football to win the Premier League, and there's been a lot of these set pieces or whatever where they get that. But it's kind of like you get to a point where, okay, at the beginning of this season, yeah, they might be stamping down on some things, but there's been enough that's happened this whole season. We are now we're week 37. That's week 36. To kind of go, you know what? We need to be stamping things out and applying this consistency. There's been enough time to embed that, and it's just down to the whims of, I don't know. Look at the referee going, the referee shouldn't give it. But the way that with VAR now, the referees don't have to ref the game, because you know what? They just let it go. And then they get a note in their ear going, you know what? We need to look at this, or we're looking at this. You need to pause the game, or we're going to tell you this, or you go look at the screen and make a decision. So the referees aren't refereeing the game because they're just relying on VAR to do it for them. So you kind of get that the whole ambiguity going. Who's in charge of this football match right now?
Shout out Spencer Stewart. I hope Spencer Stewart, you have given us a follow on YouTube. You've been active in the chat, and I really appreciate it. And also, if you've got us on Spotify or Apple, hit that notification bell. Right, help the algorithm. The referee needed help. I don't think he necessarily got it. Although Spencer Stewart says that it was a foul, and I can see actually why you'd say that. I think most situations you'd say yes, it's a foul. The issue is yes, number one, the other offences going on the box, and then wider lens, the lack of consistency, because Arsenal have a reputation of being bully boys in the box. And maybe people pull out stats that will show you, actually, I know it's not the case. But we've seen that we know what they get up to, even if it doesn't always result in a goal. That is why they push the envelope, right? Or push the limits. And that is why they have so much joy from set pieces, I think. Mr. Sandwich, what did you make of it? And also, do you think that if at the end of the season Arsenal win this league, it'll have been deserved? Does it feel deserved?
Yeah, begrudgingly it does. I think it is a marathon. It's a 38 lap marathon, 30-mile marathon, whatever. And like Jay said, you don't have to play sexy football. They've played pragmatic football. They've played, and they started the season with this whole set piece thing. They were ahead of the curve, and actually they're going to be rewarded for that. This specific incident, I think the annoying thing, and I think it's just been said in the comments as well from Spencer Stewart, that Arsenal have been doing this all year. Barge the goalkeeper. They did it to Vicario, Martinez. They've been doing it all year, and the inconsistency in it not being then ruled out is the problem. It was a foul on the keeper, yes, but there's so much happening before that, and I think football's got itself in such a tiff with VAR that, like you said, the decisions are being deferred, and it's like, you've got VAR, so now you're going to spend 4.5 minutes, you're going to have 25 replays, but you're then not going to rule out the things beforehand. It makes no sense. And we nearly had it in our game today. One of their goals, they were having a check for whether there should be a penalty, and you're like, they've just scored. How does that make sense? Why are you wasting the time? And it's like, there's no common sense. They've just scored, so what?
The goal stand. Let the goal stand.
Just let the goal stand. You're not going to chalk off a goal unless the only reason, which would make sense, and which is what we were told, if there's violent conduct, if someone's punched someone in the face, and actually not like McAllister, what he did, like actual violent conduct, that would justify maybe ruling out the goal to then bring it back, because you have to send the player off. But you're like, the goal's gone in, there's no offside. Why are you watching it again? So football's got itself in a tiff, and that Arsenal one really exemplifies. And do you know what exemplified? Because they released the mic'd up with Howard Webb the other day, and the transcript, and Kavanagh goes to the screens and says, "I don't know what I'm meant to be looking at, guys. Help."
Did he?
There's got to be something. Yeah.
He literally went up and he's like, because there's so much going on, the referee's been told, go and look.
Him? What did they
show him? And he's like, I don't know what I'm meant to be looking at here, guys. And they immediately then confirmation bias of foul on the keeper. And one of them, and the assistant VAR, before it went to the ref, said, are we also going to look at, Rice and Trossard? He's like, Trossard's not even facing the ball. Rice is grappling players. And it's like, they've got themselves in such a tiff because you can see it. So it's like,
that was the very first. I'm sure that's what I could see with my own eyes. I was looking at a foul as the ball was floated in.
Yeah, Declan Rice took out 2 players, and Trossard took out another player because Trossard wasn't even facing the ball. And it's like, if you're going to review, then, well, those incidents happen first. So what's going on? Like,
Yeah,
football's
it's
just
what-
eating
what's
itself
fake.
at the moment. And it's like, it's got itself in such a tiff. And like I said, we nearly saw that today. And it's just ridiculous. Like, no, they've scored. You don't need to check if there was a penalty in the build up because they scored. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Now, Neo, last time Arsenal won this league, you were. I don't know how much. I don't know how much you remember of it.
What year did they last win it?
2003.
03? Yeah, 2000,
I
2003.
wasn't alive.
You weren't alive. Have you watched much of the of that Invincibles team?
I'd be lying if I said I have, to be honest.
No.
I've seen clips and stuff, but
Yeah.
How could you feel
Good.
this Arsenal team are, and what are your feelings compared
the current
to
one.
the Invincible team from what you've heard and read? Yeah.
They're a very well coached side, I'd say. I don't think individually they're a world class team, but I think the system that they play suits a lot of their players really well. And as boring as they can be to watch, unfortunately, that's the way that football's going. So I feel like them winning the league, it is deserved, even though we may not want it to happen, or there may be certain games where they perhaps shouldn't have won. But at the same time, they should have been about 10 points clear, however
This
many
is
game
true.
weeks ago.
It shouldn't be a
That's true.
tighter race.
So-
You're right. You're right.
Right.
I do think they definitely deserve the league, especially the last like 3-4 years. They've been up there competing. So I think they're a good side. I just hope the praise doesn't go too overboard over the summer. That's my biggest fear. I feel like that's
Have you come across an Arsenal fan in real life?
Oh,
You
yeah.
say you don't.
Many.
Yeah, you know the answer to that.
You hope it doesn't go abroad.
I hope it doesn't.
Since March, Neo, I have been. I had to mute my Instagram for a while. I've been looking at AI videos of celebrations at the Emirates. I've been hearing that the celebration, the parade, is going to be bigger than Carnival.
I mean, if they win the double, that's going to be a huge parade.
It might.
Even if they win the league, I've been hearing about people's parade outfits since March. But you know what, Jez? It ain't done,
It's not done.
right? It's not finished.
Nah.
And we've seen crazy things happen. Jez, you and I are old enough to look back at West Ham, right? On the final game of the season, when
Yeah.
Kenny Dalglish brought his Blackburn team to Anfield, was expected to win. They didn't win. And Man United were down at West Ham and got a 2-2 draw with peak Andy Cole, Cantona, and the like. And everyone said going into that weekend, oh, it's a formality. It's done, right? Now, I heard something really stupid this week, Jez, or stupid to my ears.
Go on.
Please tell me if you share my feeling of this is completely crazy chat. But Julian Laurent, who I'd take as a fairly intelligent fellow,
Yeah.
came out and said that if this Arsenal team wins the league and wins the Champions League, they are a greater side than the Invincibles of 03. A team that contained Thierry Henry, possibly the finest Premier League forward we've seen of all time, Dennis Bergkamp, the best left back maybe the Premier League seen, Ashley Cole, peak Lauren, peak Sol Campbell, Ljungberg, Pires, et al. And yet, seems to me, some people are conflating a potential achievement with greatness. It would be a great achievement, but does it make you better?
No, that's what happens when you've got 20 odd years to be dreaming about the next victory. You know, you get really excited, I think. And even, you know, I said before, Invincibles, they drew 12. Like, come on. For me, you're a proper Invincible if it's like no defeats or like
It's
one
true.
or something. But
we take it as a period of time.
I know
they
that, no,
did go
but
49.
But you know, it's like your wins is like so much up there that I'll be like, yeah, I'll give you that. But yeah, they're just excited, and you know, also they're a young team. It's a young new generation of Arsenal fans who would have heard those stories about the Invincibles and not had that much to talk about or to celebrate since then as well. And yeah, in the days of social media as it is, with all the noise and chat that happens, you know, enjoy your moment.
That's why I was surprised to hear it from Julian Laurent, because he is paid for his opinions, which none of us are, by the way. And secondly, he's old enough, surely, to remember that true Premier League all-timers that Arsenal team was filled with.
But he's not talking to those people that were there
Up-
back then. He's talking
up
to the
until-
new guys.
Up
Clickbait.
until like 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, when Arsenal lost that game to Bournemouth at home. I even up until then, I was hearing Arsenal fans saying we don't like this team. I've never heard anyone say we don't like the 03 team. Everyone tells me they're one of the best teams of all time. So I found that so puzzling to hear. I mean, what do you think? Mr.
Reactionary.
Manager?
I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian
Go on.
because medals and trophies matter in the context, and I think we're going to also have this with Klopp. When we look back at Klopp's legacy in his 20 years, not 2 or 3 years, can you really say that a team that, okay, cool, yeah, maybe got 92 points, and when you, like you say, you took look at an area. You remember when they had the picture of all the trophies they'd won over 2 years, like individually as a season, like winning also has to matter in that sense. So the team that won the league last year is not on paper better than the team that got 92 points and came second, but the team last year won the title in that sense. So it's a really difficult one. And interestingly, Thierry Henry said it to Saka on the CBS show as well. So it's not just Julian Rance. He said, we were in Invincibles, but you guys can be immortal. Because actually, if you can win the 2 biggest trophies in the same season, which is very difficult, not many Premier League teams have done that. I think, probably only United have done
And
where they've won the
City.
league and the Champions League in the same thing, and City when they won it as well. That's really difficult.
It's a
I'm not
tremendous
saying
team,
that
and
they're
they've
greater.
not lost a game.
Yeah,
However.
but Drew, but you can't win the league now with 12 draws.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't win the
Football
league now with
change,
12
football
draws.
change.
You cannot win the league with 12 draws.
Well,
And this Arsenal team got to.
hang on a second. There's 38 league games. That means you win 26 matches. That'll give you 90 points, which is what they got. 85 points will win your league this season. So they would have done.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the momentum of drawing those many games would eventually catch up with you as well. Obviously, mathematically, yeah, you can mathematically win it with 75, but realistically, the way the intensity of the Premier League now, you cannot win the Premier League drawing 12 games and get to a Champions League final. This Arsenal team have got to a Champions League final, a Carabao final, FA Cup quarter final. That's not easy, and we know that because we were seeing it on the Klopp. It's not easy to do that and get all the way, and that is absolutely not to diminish. You can't diminish the Invincibles, and they're rightly called the Invincibles, and a 49 game unbeaten run. But we also can't pretend as if that was an all-conquering team. They were brushed aside quite easily by Chelsea.
But did they not have better opposition? If you recall, when they went out to Chelsea.
No. I'm also not having. I'm not necessarily having that. The game is so different. So, like I was saying about the Premier League, it's probably harder to win the Champions League now because you have to be excellent for a bit longer. Whereas, again, we know it better than most. You can just be better every other week, and just if it falls right, and you've got the second leg at home, and you have the away goals. It's harder to win the Champions League now because the amount of better teams you meet earlier. Real Madrid and Man City were playing in the first knockout round this year. That's the difference. So I'm not saying this team is better than the Invincibles. I think it's slightly different, but it would be a better achievement winning both the Premier League and the Champions League.
I think we're aggressively agreeing because that's what I started to say. It's a better achievement for sure, right? Because
but if you get the achievement, doesn't that mean you're the better team?
Absolutely not. Because Liverpool in 08 or 09, where they came second, and we went to a lot of those games together, Jez, right?
Yeah.
A far better team than Liverpool won the Champions League in 05, I assure you. Right? But anyway,
only one of them will get. Only one of them. There's a Netflix documentary next week on Istanbul, not on 2008.
We'll see that. But then I guess kind of with that as well, I get your point, Mr. Summage, about actually getting over the line and getting the trophy, because I can't remember what the season was. What was the season where we played every single game that was available to us?
2022. Yeah.
But then we did win the Champions League, and we lost the Premier League by 1, but we came up with 2 domestic trophies, and nobody really talks about that. because I went to the parade. I was like, I'm going to go to
We
that
left.
parade. Yeah, everyone left. You guys were Liverpool. You left. I was like,
I was-
but guys,
I was
we've got
totally
FA
getting
Cup,
to go out
we've got
that
a
night.
League
Sam
Cup.
was like,
Yeah.
"Nah, I'm going back to my room."
Yeah, but everyone was just
Time
like,
for this
nah.
shit.
But like every single game, like we've got to the end of every single competition that we've been in this season.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
It's a great debate.
Yeah.
We're going to leave it there because we've gone way over. Big shout out to everyone that's joined the chat tonight, and thank you for your comments. Appreciate it. Make sure you are following, subscribing, leaving us a 5-star rating and a review if you're especially nice. That would be fantastic. We hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. All that's left for me to say is huge thank you for the last hour and 35 minutes to Jez,
always a pleasure.
to Neo,
Always a pleasure as well.
and to Mr. Samuj.
Have a great weekend.
We'll catch you next week. Oh, actually, before we go, I'm just losing the thread completely, aren't I? Predictions for next week. Just round the table quickly. Jez, you go first.
1-1.
1-1.
Oh,
2-0 Liverpool.
Sam.
2-0 to someone. Nah, to Liverpool.
Did you say
Pop that out the air.
Did you say 2-0 to someone?
Someone.
It's because Neo said 2-0. I want Salah to score and we'll get a late one and then, yeah.
Liverpool will play
End the season on
next
a
week,
high.
guys, and Liverpool will beat Brentford 3-1. And my big prediction is you will not see Alexander Isak. You never walk alone.
Yeah.
You don't see him walking, let alone anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man can't run. Can't do nothing.